to then face kind of what is hopefully their own humanity, or some version of that, where you get to kind of really struggle and then come to some kind of new awareness. And that hero's journey, you know, even with the Queen and with Rumpelstiltskin and with perhaps maybe some of the more unredeemable traits that they might have, you find yourself caring about them. You go like, oh gosh. And it's quite skillful what they've done in terms of sort of with every character we find ourselves hooked in. Anyway.
Hi. I want to know what your favorite fairy tale was when you were younger, and how being on the show has maybe changed what your favorite was, or how your perception of your favorite fairy tale has changed being on the show.
Dude, I was too macho to be in a fairy tale. Serious, you know? I was definitely a Pirate of the Caribbean. I admit it. But you know what the interesting thing is? There's that Once Upon a Time fairy tale book that came out, and I read some of these stories to my 5-year-old. And you go into some of these stories, you read the real story of Hansel and Gretel. That is a dark, twisted, messed up story. And I get it. I mean, these are morality tales. Right? These are teaching you Red Riding Hood. You're teaching your daughter to not be promiscuous in back in the day. How do we do it? We parable this big bad wolf thing. So it's interesting because it's brought me a newfound respect, and actually I give fairy tales credit for being a lot more ballsy than I ever thought they were.
You know, one of my favorites is Jack and the Beanstalk. And I believe this is now public, so I can say this. I believe it's coming, so you'll be hearing it. So, and that was, I mean, someone had asked me this last year before I even knew that was coming, but it was coming. And again, I think the sky's the limit in terms of where it's going to go. I think I can easily say now that they've got a very wide canvas, and they're not going to just use the old European Grimm fairy tales. I know that they're going outside that and really sort of exploring, you know, fairy tales from other cultures and going to all sorts of different kinds of source material. So lots ahead.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I really didn't do much in the way of fairy tales growing up. I don't really remember. I watched all of the Disney ones on Disney Hour, but none of them really struck me. But because, yeah, I was more interested in other things. I mean, I dreamed and had other sort of interests, sports and doing stuff. But the one thing about the Pinocchio tale that's sort of fascinating is it really, you know, it wasn't in the sort of Grimm tales. It sort of came in the 19th century Italy, in a time of sort of turmoil, and it had to do with poverty, and it had to do with working hard, going to school, again, end up sort of being someone else's creature for the rest of your life. And that, you know, so I think there was that sense of it. And again, it sort of feeds into the immigrant tale, which is the parent always says, Greg, I will suffer so that you can be something else, and that's the price. And so it made great sense. But I love, you know, I mean, I love the Bruno Bettelheim uses of enchantment and all of that. I agree with Lee too about these, you know, all of these have sort of wisdoms and very hard lessons. They're not sweet. You know, they're really not sweet at all. And that's cool. I think it's good.